Yo, what up, what up, what up? It is the president of Driven Tyke T, and I am kicking it with Rob on Front Row Live. You know what it is?
I want to talk about this new track that just dropped like a few days ago, Countdown.
Yeah,
And not only is it like such a great track that you just released, but you got to kind of team up with your wife in a sense, just because she kind of inspired this track for you.
yeah.
How cool of a feeling is that? That it's like, my wife and I got to teamwork on this.
Well, I think what's crazy about it, so the song was a challenge from my manager. My manager was like, hey, if people that know about me and people that'll watch this, they know about me. They're like, my whole brand is about being driven. So I got a shirt on right now that says driven. So it'll look weird to people looking at it, but it says driven though, right? And so it's like, pushing through the obstacles, whatever's going on, you're going to continue to figure out how to get there, right? So a lot of stuff that I do is also for TV and film and trailers and things like that. So when you're writing for those things, it's real specific. It's like you got to write to an emotion. Tom Cruise might be running through some fire, so they need like a sound, right? Like they don't really care about the full record. They're gonna take this piece and they're gonna make a record on it. So she was like, "Oh, that's nice, that's dope, but like, can you make a song for the ladies? Like, what are you doing?" Like, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what? Like, who you talking to? Of course I can make a song for the ladies." And then so my manager, like, I love her to death. We fight all the time, but she's always that person that's pushing me to go forward. What's the next level? What are you going to continue to do? We know you're driven, but like, what's next, right? And so she was like, you got to write something for the ladies. I don't think you can do it. Challenging me to it. And so I just use, what's around you. I think like all artists, you're going to use the stuff that's near you. And my wife was my muse for it. And like, at the time, she was stressing, like, trying to figure out what's her next move, what's the next thing you're gonna do, like what's the next career goal, what's all of this and all this, pushing you from this and all these ranges. And then I was like, look, weekends are our favorite time. And I was really just thinking about, it's sick to think like this, but I was more so thinking about the Flintstones. I don't know if you remember, but like it's like Fred on the intro, like he's looking at the clock, right? And it's like he about to leave and it's like it's time to go. And that was like the thought. It's like it's the countdown, like all that bullshit that you went through earlier, that matters now. It don't matter no more. Like we about to kick it. And so just using her as my muse, it was so cool. And people really have been embracing the record. Like, the song has over 18,000 streams right now, which is amazing. For me, I'm independent, no record label, anything. We do everything we can. So for people to be like really accepting the song and loving the video is something I couldn't imagine. But as always, we got more work to do. So that's a long answer. I hope I answered some of that you asked.
I mean, that's what I wanted, man. That's what I wanted.
I talk in tangent, so my bad. But that's what happened with the record. That's how we got the countdown.
That's cool though. And is she also featured on that music video?
Yeah. So if you've seen the video, that's actually my wife. Like, so we shot the video about 2 months ago now, right? And it was all right. So everything had to be social distance. The places that we went to, people got to wear masks. You got to make sure that you're, socially distanced. So it only had like 2 people. It was at my house where we shot like the beginning scenes, and like I was only allowing 2 people in at a time. Then we went to like this dope ass place in downtown Memphis called the Century House. And they allowed us in there to shoot some of those other scenes, like just trying to set the scene up where we actually getting away and, we can get away. And I think it fits so well why people like the records, because that's what we're living in right now too. Like, I think every day is a Friday afternoon and we're ready to go and get something fun done, because every single damn day you get another piece of, sorry to say this, from the news, you be like, okay, I need another drink because I can't take no more. It's like Monday this happened, Tuesday happened, living in. It's like we're always trying to get to the weekend so we can try to have like just a moment to like get back to some type of normalcy, right? So
I mean, man, I want to know what that type of normalcy is and when it'll be, but
so you and me both. And once you find it, please call me, text me, bro.
I definitely will.
Email me the Zoom link so we can talk, please. Seriously.
But like this is why us as music fans, we're fortunate to have you as musicians, like be able to still kind of create content for us to feel okay, to be okay, to forget about that mental health for a second while we're listening to your music. And I feel you kind of did that with Countdown, not necessarily just for the ladies. I feel like it's just it fits all people.
Right.
But in saying that, like, because it was a challenge, because your wife took part in this as well, like, how how different was that recording process for you? Like when you went into the studio and recorded it, like, did you have to kind of reinvent yourself in a sense? Did you kind of have to challenge yourself in a sense? Like, what was that like for you?
It was super easy, to be honest. Like the producer sent me that track and I already knew what I wanted to do with it. And it's funny, it was like a couple of iterations of Countdown. Like the first one that I sent was not fully mixed. It wasn't anything. I just went over to the producer's house. We recorded it. It was like cool. And then, we did a couple of listening sessions to get a vibe and a feel to see what people are thinking about it. And then like people were like, oh, we love Countdown. And so when they loved Countdown, it became, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to actually spend some money to get the song mixed because, like I said, I'm independent. Like I have a 9-to-5. I take that money from my 9-to-5 and I put it back into myself. So sometimes, it's not about cutting corners. It's like, hey, all right, I got to figure out, these lights still got to get paid, or am I going to get all these records mixed? Like, it's just the reality. And so when you see the people like, the old, what is it, Motown, like people, would you rather have a sandwich or we listen to the song? Like those are the type of things we actually did with these songs just to get feedback from people. And a lot of people like, I love Countdown, that's the one we want. So that's when I went through the process of actually getting it recorded correctly, mixed, etc. It was pretty easy. Like, for me, and this is a tip for any artist that looks at these, I do the same thing every time. I make sure I'm fully rehearsed before I get into the studio because the studio is not free. It's not like that's work when you get there. So I already did the record like 45 times before I actually get there. Once I get there, it's just work. So I'm trying to knock it out because I can't be paying $50, $60 an hour. Like I can do it one time. And after that, I got to get up out of here. So like, nah, it was easy because I knew what I had to do to get up out of there.
And I feel like that's hard nowadays. I feel like so many people have, there's been so many stories where I hear like, they go into the studio and the first few hours they're just like messing around trying to get inspired, like, and it's, you got to have that mindset that you have, and I feel like not a lot of people do that. I feel like they just like, you know what, let's just go to the studio and let's see if I write something. That's like money being spent.
So I like to do both, right? Like there are times when I'm at, let's say my dog Hot Rod studio. Hot Rod's on the album that we dropped that's a part of Countdown is called Rona, which stands for Ready or Not Adjust. And the reason we can get into that, or I don't know how we're going to go, but anyway, so there's a studio that I go to a lot and, he's on the album. Sometimes it's cool, it's vibes. He'll drop a track. We'll just start writing. There you go. But other times, but before I even come over there though, I've already probably got at least 1 or 2 songs written, or we get while we're here. Like I'm not coming into the studio just for the jokey jokes. Like that's not fun. Like I want to make sure that once I leave, something's happening. Like I either brought an artist here, or we were here for a session, or we're going to get my song recorded. Like there is always a goal and intent, or I'm not stepping into it. And I got that from Lil Wayne. Like, he's always in the studio. Like, it's one of them things where you could, and Tupac them too, that was like the engineer can do all that other stuff. I'm here to record, like I'm here to make sure that these records get laid down. Other than that, why am I here? Just to say I was at the studio or for an Instagram pic? And I ain't got no problem with people getting Instagram pics because you got to do what you got to do because that's a part of the game too. But for me, I don't have enough time in the day to be there. Like I said, I have a full 9-to-5. So I already have to give some of my life to that. So that's already laid out. Like the can't stop nothing. I still got to give my life to that, right? So when I'm going over here, I got to make sure that we getting output out. Other than that, I just wasted time. I'll never be able to get back. So
that's true, man. It's that hustle for the independent game, man. Like, and at the same time, I feel like that hustle is worth it just because when you're independent, you do what you want to do. You want to release this track, you release it. When you're under a label, I feel like it's a lot harder, and there's so many other people that have to say yes before you can actually, figure out if it's going to be your song or not. So, with this track that you just released, Countdown, what kind of body of work is this going to be a part of? I know you kind of mentioned Rona, but like where is this going to be fitting as far as like your discography goes?
It's crazy because Rona and Countdown is just a project full of songs that were all experimental, man. Like for real. Like I was experimenting with new sounds, new genres, new revenue streams, like trying to figure out different ways I can get this project and these songs like synced into different TV films and trailers. Like I'm pulling all these sounds and then all of a sudden you get smacked with a pandemic. So you're like, what the like, what is going on with the world? Like, and so as much as this project really is about me, expressing myself as an artist, it really is Rona and Countdown and all of this. It is about being able to push through and adapt and adjust with these circumstances that we all are put in right now. From a sound standpoint though, like I don't really know where it's gonna be able to fit, to be honest, because all the sounds were different. Like they were made for different things. Like if you listen to the project, there's a record on there. There's 2 records on there, like Kingdom and there's and Fuel My Fire and Rise to the Call. Like they were made solely for me to be able to get in the TV, film, and licensing and trailers and video games. But then you have a record like This Can't Be Life, which was made that talks about, you know, all of the and the oppression that we go through as African Americans, right? I actually wrote that song in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, but it keeps on coming back and forth. So it's like it fit perfectly because it always will fit. And it just goes back to the adjust, like Ready or Not Adjust. Like I didn't know when I dropped that record in 2016 that I was going to be bringing it back in 2020, but they still keep killing us. So you got to continue to make that relevant. Then you have a song like Lottery and Countdown and Lady, which are more vibey and more chills, which were made for different routes. Like, you know, Lottery was made for more of a live set because I'm a live performer, so I want to bring the band out. Countdown was the challenge, but I saw my wife going crazy. And then Lady, I love Jodeci, so like I had to put some of those vibes in there. So like it really doesn't have a, like, I can't really say it has a spot in my desire. Obviously it's out, so it has a spot, but it's like it was a bunch of records that I wanted to do individual things, and collectively they have come together to be this one project that can really show you, like, don't matter, don't stop. We all in the, we all got to figure it out, but we still gonna push the, because we can't stop. That's the only thing that's constant is change in this world. I think we all know that, like, period.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, it is an experimental record for you, like,
yep.
What is it about this record that, you know, no matter who listens to it, they kind of get that taste of Tyke T? Like, it's not like, oh, who's this, who's that? It's like Tyke T throughout.
It's the drive. I think on all of the records, you're going to be able to know that, like, okay, he didn't stop. He kept going. He always going to push through. And the motivation is still there, but it's going to be there in a different way. It's like, now I'm motivating my wife to get up and go, right? So normally I'm introverted, like, keep going, Tyke, don't stop. You got to keep going. But now it's like, nah, baby, you don't stop. It's the countdown. You got it all. They hating on you, but they can't stop you either, baby. Like, what are you thinking? Like, it'll never be able to stop. You know, for Lottery, it's like Lottery's back to the love and showing people that, like, all right, cool. Out of all the odds in the world, I still was able to cash out with you. Like, it's beautiful. You know, Rise to the Call. It's like, your future is now. You gonna rise to the call. What you gonna do? They negativity fuels my fire. Like, this is my kingdom. Like, I'm going through the records. But anyway, the point is, I think that's what they'll be able to know. Like, there's always gonna be a consistent place of don't stop going for it from Tyke T. You might not be on a specific sound because I'm always playing with sounds, especially when you're in the lane that I'm in. Like, obviously my genre is hip hop, but when you're writing for TV and trailers and films, man, like, you'll get some weird ass beats thrown at your ass, but you still got to drop these hard 16. So like, you might never get a consistent sound from me in terms of a beat. Like, you know, if you remember a couple of summers ago, DJ Mustard, you knew his beat because it was like, that's a DJ Mustard beat. Like, you might not hear the same Tyke T beat, but you're still going to hear that Tyke T drive on all these records.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. And I feel like that's what it's hard for artists to kind of figure that out for themselves whenever they're making music. Like, it's
I didn't want to figure it out. I didn't want to figure it out. I ain't gonna lie. But what happened was, it was like, all right, what are we doing? Because I just heard your ass on an acoustic song, but then I heard your ass on some trappy shit because y'all in Memphis. Like, what's happening here? And so what we wanted to create is the drive is what embodies us all. It's not going to be this one sound from us. If you're driven and you don't want to stop and you're not going to let these obstacles get in your way, then come on. Now, that don't mean that you're going to always get the consistent sound from me, but what that means is you're going to get that motivation in a different way. It could be, you know, with synths, it could be with auto-tune, it could be with live percussion, it could be with acoustic, it could be with pianos only. But if you're driven, come on, and that's the thing that'll connect us all.
Now, for my last question, I feel like you kind of answered it right now, but I'm going to ask it anyways. This year has been such an insane year. We're going through situations that, like you mentioned, since 2016 when you wrote that song, it's still
Right.
relevant today. And some people are losing their jobs, some people are just losing motivation and passion and all that stuff, like all together in 2020. But for you as an independent artist, as someone that's always like busy with a 9 to 5 and probably exhausted from it,
Right.
what keeps you driven with your music?
Oh man, this is what I want to do forever, right? So I'll be doing this for some capacity for the rest of my life, right? Now listen, Drake, if you watching this, you can sign me, G. Like I ain't gonna turn it down. Well, let me stop before my manager watch this. What I would do is we look at the contract, correct? Because there are some perks that are involved with labels. So we look at the contract first, but I more than likely, Drake, would probably give you yes, maybe more than likely. So that's just between me and you. But in all seriousness, man, like this is just what I want to do, like forever. Like, and I think when people don't have a defined goal of what their success is, they kind of get thrown in a loop, especially in this industry, because there's no right way. Like, if you think about it, the government has taught us these are the 12 grades you have to go through, and we're going to give you this, which is a diploma. And these are the 4 grades you have to go through in college, and then we're going to give you that. So it's all laid out. There's no path in the industry like that. Some people get signed to success. Some people drop a viral TikTok, they're gone tomorrow. Some people, it takes 20 years for them to get it. There's no defined success. So I had to stop looking at the world's view of success and define it for me, right? And once I defined it for me, I want to do music forever. So like, as long as I'm doing this, I beat the game. Now we're gonna do things. We're gonna be on TV. We're gonna have opportunities. We charted Billboard in 2017. I'm a board member for the Grammys, the Memphis Grammy chapter in Memphis. Like these things are gonna happen. I'm gonna do those things because that's a part of the industry. But regardless, the core of this is I want to do music. So if I'm doing music every single day, then I won and you lost. And I don't care what your success, like whatever your metrics are. Your metric could be like, Tyke, you supposed to be with Master P and Dr. Dre now. You haven't done that yet, so you lost. That's on you. I hate that you think that about me. But what you don't understand is what I want to do with this every single day is to make this the thing that I do every single day. And so that I'm doing that, I won. So you can't win. And if people define that, whatever their level of success is, it doesn't matter. If your goal is to get signed, lay a path down, make digestible goals, and be driven towards those. Go get that. If all you want to do is have 1,000 fans, figure it out. But if you just got this clouded view of what success is, you'll never win because you'll be in this circle. And in the music industry is something that is very opinionated. So you will let everybody's views destroy you. But they can't beat me. There's nothing that they can do. They lost. We won. Like I'm on an interview right now with you talking about music. Like we already won. Like, so I'm just excited and they can't stop this. And we just got to keep going.
Man, Professor Tyke T.
It's these glasses, bro. They're making me feel like I know a little bit more than I do because I don't. But like,
I'm not even a musician, but I think I'm ready to start now that I just graduated.